Africa is in the spotlight. A continent of over 1.2 billion people. The culture, the food, the ideas, all coming together, uniting to build solutions. Tech Expo Africa is a social enterprise event that brings these ideas together in an exposition in a bid to foster deeper collaborations and unite communities. Tech Expo Africa, enabling development. Africa is in the spotlight. A continent of over 1.2 billion people. The culture, the food, the ideas, all coming together, uniting to build solutions. Tech Expo Africa is a social enterprise event that brings these ideas together in an exposition in a bid to foster deeper collaborations and unite communities. Tech Expo Africa, enabling development.
Africa is the world's second largest and populous continent made up of 54 countries, and each of these countries offer unique experiences for travelers, especially through its cities. The continent is known for its stunning vast deserts, extraordinary wildlife, rolling hills, highlands, and beautiful savanna grasslands. It also hosts extraordinary towns and cities that are enriched with culture, history and other activities. African cities have various cultures, landmarks, diverse populations and numerous entertainment possibilities. African cities are constantly among the fastest developing cities in the world. Even though a lot of improvement is still needed in some parts of this continent, Africa is home to some of the most beautiful and developed cities in the world. Some of these cities have futuristic skylines, concrete streetways, sparkling lights and buzzing energy that really draws people in and makes everything seem possible. If you thought Africa was underdeveloped, this video will without a doubt change your mind. Our list of the top 25 beautiful cities in Africa was created by considering the most beautiful and advanced cities in the African continent, with real opportunities and excellent infrastructure. So without any further delays, here are the 25 most beautiful cities in Africa. Number 25. Monrovia, Liberia. Monrovia is the capital and with a population of around 1 million, also the largest city in Liberia. It was founded during the administration of U.S. President James Monroe, for whom it was named by the American Colonization Society as a settlement for freed American slaves. Although Liberia has been through a lot in the last decades, Monrovia has never stopped developing and thriving and is one of the most beautiful cities in the west coast of Africa. The city is famously known for its pre-colonial buildings and as being the educational center of Liberia and home to the only artificial harbor and free port in West Africa. Number 24. Harare, Zimbabwe. Harare is the bustling Zimbabwean capital which surprises many visitors with its beautiful resort areas and alluring tourist gems. A haven for wondrous wildlife, the city is encompassed by sprawling African plains and spectacular scenery home to giraffes, lions, wildebeests and more. And with some great museums and majestic gardens too, travelers can easily lose themselves for days in this dynamic, busy and charming place. Number 23. Lusaka, Zambia. Lusaka is the capital of Zambia. It is a cosmopolitan city that is home to about 2.7 million people, approximately 1 in 6 Zambians. Lusaka is the center of commerce and government in Zambia and has several cultural facilities. The city has become something of a boomtown of late. New buildings are going up everywhere, and many chain stores and shopping malls are springing up all over the sprawling suburbs. Lusaka is a beautiful city sitting right in the heart of the African continent. It's a premier travel destination filled with stunning wildlife, vast unspoiled landscapes, and the most friendly people you'll ever meet.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. Right. I'm excited to be here. Hello, Nemi. Can you hear me? Nemi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly, Mr. John. You're welcome.
Oh, great.
Good
Great. Great.
afternoon.
Good afternoon from this part of the world. I guess some people watching us from other parts of the world, maybe they will be saying good morning. Right. So I'm really excited about this other edition of this particular show, Tech Expo Africa monthly events, and especially about today's session. And I want to welcome everybody wherever you are joining us. I guess everyone can use the comment box, right, Nemi? And tell us their name and where they are watching from.
Yes, they can.
So please let us know where you are watching us from.
Yes, so I'd like
Whether
that
you
every
are
one of you kindly
go ahead, Nemi. All right. So okay. So my name is Olafise John Ige, and I'll be a co-moderator here at this particular event. And I'm also here with Nemi.
Yes, I'm here. My name is Nemi Richard Otobo, and I'll be moderating the session alongside with Mr. John.
Right, right. We want to welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We are so much excited. We really want to see your comments wherever you are watching us from, and want to greet you. I think it's excited to mention your name and also know that you are watching us from all parts of the world. In the last edition, we had people from different parts of Africa, different parts of the world that participated in the events, and we're also excited to also have that. I don't know, maybe Nemi, you have some people that have joined us on the comments over there. Do you?
No, we haven't seen anybody. So we like that every one of us joins. If you're joining us from any part of the world, from Kenya, from Zimbabwe, from Ghana, from Cameroon, please kindly send in your name so I can see Mr. Henry Ekwa Roger from Nigeria. Thank you very much for joining us, and you're joining us via YouTube. We're so excited to have you here. Thank you so much, Mr. Henry. So I would like that every one of us joining this webinar today, kindly send in your name. Oh, Mrs. Lizzie following short. Thank you so much for joining us
Yeah.
from Nigeria.
Thank you so
You're
much for
joining us
joining
via
us.
Facebook. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So for every one of us who is joining, kindly send in your name and thank you so much for joining us. Over to you, Mr. John.
All right. So, Nemi, before we just go ahead, what do you think about today's event? What are the things participants should expect? All right, because I know everyone is always eager for this particular monthly events from Tech Expo Africa. So, what are the expectation or what are the things basically that participants should expect from this particular webinar?
All right, so today's webinar is titled Navigating Project Management, a Journey of the Global African. So as Africans, we need to start thinking globally. We need to start thinking, diversifying our approach to the way we think tech and the rest. So project management is that kind of, is that aspect of tech that not everybody wants to delve into, because everybody thinks that tech is all about the coding, HTML, C++, CSS, and the rest of it.
Sure.
But then we understand that there is the coding aspect of tech and there is a non-coding aspect of tech. But I would like that our participants today They come with an open heart, with an open mind to learn and understand what project management is and navigating this project management. Because as Africans, we need to start thinking about developing Africa and then building ourselves so that we can be able to take up the global space. So we are I would like that everybody in this webinar who is going to be participating in this webinar have an open mind towards understanding the cause and the nitty gritties of project management today. Although it may not all be an all encompassing course today, it may simply be like a
True.
crash course or what have you. But I would like that we all open our hearts and give ourselves a head start to the understanding of what project management is today. Thank you so much, John.
Right, right. And that's very true. And one thing I will also
And
encourage
let me
everybody
say
to
one more thing. Our speaker is all prepped up.
go ahead.
Yeah, before you proceed, I want to say that our speaker is all prepped up and she's ready to give us everything. She's ready to download to us all that we need to know about navigating our spaces or our way in project management space.
Very true. Very, very correct. And one thing I will also encourage all participants to do right now. I know somebody in your network just have to be here. All right. And it's going to be a blessing for you, or should I say maybe a weekend package, right? If you go ahead and share the link to this webinar and, just gift them and tell them happy weekend that they need to attend this particular webinar, because everyone seeks to advance in their career, in their business, or what have you. And reaching the global community is very, very important. So if you are watching this right now, one thing I want you to do for me is just click the share button, right? Of course, click the like button, right? So click the share button and share it to your network. Let people know that you are attending this webinar and it's really going to benefit them, right? So thank you so much for doing that, right? So Nimi, what do we have next now?
Number 19. Libreville, Gabon. Libreville is the largest city of Gabon. The lifestyle of the people and beautiful architecture is greatly influenced by the French. It also has a literacy rate of about 90%. Additionally, it doubles as an oil city with a massive investment, which has boosted the mining sector. Its seafront boulevard has parks and sculptures. The National Museum of Arts and Tradition exhibits tribal crafts such as masks and wood-carved artifacts. Number 18. Agadir, Morocco. Agadir is one of the major urban centers of Morocco. Its beauty rests on the blending of history and modernity. A resort destination, it's known for its golf courses, wide crescent beach and seaside promenade, lined with cafes, restaurants and bars. The level of crime is deficient, and it is unlikely that you will meet any harm. Number 17. Windhoek, Namibia. Windhoek is the location of most government institutions in Namibia. It is famous for its adequate healthcare services and has good educational institutions. Despite being a small city, it is a bubbling business district that has trendy shopping malls, bars, and restaurants. On a hilltop in the city center, there are the 1890s Alt Feast, a former military headquarters with historical exhibits, and Independence Memorial Museum. Colonial influence is visible in nearby buildings like the Sandstone Lutheran Christus Church. Number 16. Port Louis, Mauritius. Cleanliness, beauty, and security make Port Louis stand out from the rest. The presence of port facilities, manufacturing industries, and tourism sites makes it a financial hub. Its cuisine, history, and city architecture draw tourists from all walks of life. Number 15. Accra, Ghana. Accra, which is the capital of Ghana, is a modern city with the presence of world-class shopping malls, classic bars, restaurants, and nightclubs. There are several architectural structures in the city.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us once again in today's webinar, Navigating the Project Management Space, an opportunity for raising global Africans. Thank you so much for joining us once again. So also, I would like that if you're joining us for this webinar, please kindly send in your name and the location you're joining us from. We'd like to appreciate you. Thank you so much for every one of us who has joined, from Mr. Henry to Mrs. Lizzie Folarunshaw. Thank you so much for joining us from Nigeria, from Kenya, from Zimbabwe, from Zambia, from Cameroon. Thank you so much for joining us. Right about now, I would like to us to make welcome the president of the Tech Expo Africa community. He's also the convener of the Tech Expo Africa conference in the person of Mr. Victor Olushola Kende. He's going to be coming up front to give us the events objectives for today's webinar. Thank you so much for joining us. Mr. Kende, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Nemi. Good morning, afternoon, and good evening to everyone that is joining us on this webinar. I'm so glad and excited to be here today to share what we've got for you today. It's always a great time to have participants join from all over the world. And also we have different speakers that come share from their wealth of experience. I'm super excited for this one because our speaker, she's been in the project management space for over a decade, and I'm sure that a lot of you will learn many things from her when she comes off stage. Well, I'd just like to share about Tech Expo Africa for some of you that are watching, and this is your first time of hearing about Tech Expo Africa. Well, Tech Expo Africa is a community of startups, entrepreneurs, professionals, people from all walks of life on the African continent, and also in diaspora. Globally, we have participants from all over the world, people that join the community to share from their wealth of experience and also networking with each other. And one of the critical things that we're very conscious of is collaborating with ourselves without collaboration, without ego. We are very, very keen on that. Well, we started Tech Expo Africa in 2019, and the very first event was in Nigeria, in Ondo State. And the vision was to just establish a dynamic platform that bridges gap between foremost technology and business leaders or startup entrepreneurs. See how all of us can come together, synergize in a physical event where we connect with ourselves, get to know ourselves, network, and then we can share valuable information about businesses or potential grant opportunities out there. That's what Tech Expo Africa all started as. But now we've also been expanding. So we rebranded from Accra Tech Expo to Tech Expo Africa. After the very first conference, so that we can have more Africans join, more diasporas can join us to ensure that we can bridge the gap amongst all the African countries, the 54 African countries on the globe. And the great thing is that we have a lot of diaspora Africans that are also part of the Tech Expo Africa community from Canada, US, UK, Australia, New Zealand, amazing countries that every one of them is joining us and being a part of our community. Well, in the course of this webinar, we'll also be sharing the Telegram community where you can also join us, and then you can learn from others, network with others, other entrepreneurs and startup organization. Well, what are the key objectives of Tech Expo Africa? Our key objectives is to ensure facilitation in terms of knowledge sharing among ourselves. One of the things we're also very conscious of is KT sessions, knowledge transfer sessions within the community. We also provide networking opportunities where attendees, participants, you can all network with each other, connect with like-minded professionals within the community. You can also connect with industry leaders. And another thing we also ensure is showcase of innovation. We are very keen on showcasing every participant within the community regarding to cutting edge technologies, or you've got emerging projects in Africa that you would like the world to know about. Yes, that's part of the key objectives of Tech Expo Africa. We also address challenges, and that's where we also discuss challenges, opportunities. And one of the One of these core objectives is what we have today, which is the webinar, which is a monthly webinar where we have a great speakers that come join and share from their wealth of experience, telling us different strategies that you can use to advance in our businesses or startups. We'll also ensure we engage with audience, so we foster active participation through all form of interactive sessions, Q&A segments. And I want you guys to know, please, when our speaker for today comes online, once you start sharing from our wealth of experience, kindly note down your questions. You can drop it on the comment section, and then we can read it out for her to address those questions. What are your expectations? If you are part of Tech Expo Africa community, we have keynote presentation by industry leaders, and that's what one of them we're having today. Panel discussions that we feature diverse perspective and experiences. We'll also have interactive Q&A sessions with the speakers. We ensure virtual networking opportunities for attendees, and this is not only restricted to Africa. If you would also like to join us from the globe, any country in the world, please, you can join us via the link that will be sharing on the comment section. Part of what we also do in terms of expectations, we have presentations, case studies, we share success stories, we also share emerging trends of technology and all that. And what we also do on that platform is we share grant opportunities, events from other community members within the African Tech Expo ecosystem. We'll do all of that sharing. Who are our target audience? Our target audience are technology professionals, entrepreneurs and startups, researchers, policymakers. We have VCs, investors. Who also, in terms of our target audience in Tech Expo Africa, we have tech enthusiasts, general public that are interested in technological advancements in Africa and the world at large. These are just a snippet of the previous event that we've had. I think this one was in 2022. This was a conference in 2022, and that was also in Nigeria. These are a crop of our volunteers and a couple of participants. This was a conference in 2021. We had the governor of Ondo State the deputy governor of Ondo State was part of that event. He came and also shared from a government regulatory perspective on how entrepreneurs and startups can be more intentional about ensuring that they are regulatory compliant with their product and service offerings. This is also part of the conference. This is a conference in 2021. We had workshop sessions. We also had speakers from the health space. Abiola Oshini is a great experienced person in the health industry. He was also part of that event, sharing from his wealth of experience. This is also a snippet of the 2019 conference that we had in Nigeria, and that's the wife of the Ondo State governor when we had the conference in 2019. We had also had workshops on solar design, cybersecurity training, and artificial intelligence. It was also a great event, and that is part of what expanded the scope of Tech Expo Africa that we will also start covering the globe. Who should exhibit? If you would like to exhibit, you would like to partner with us, these are all the different industries that currently are partnering with us in terms of sponsorship: banking industry, tech companies, oil and gas, cryptocurrency companies, innovators, biotechnology, food tech companies. If you would like to also be part of us for support the vision of Tech Expo Africa, please feel free to reach out to us on either our website or using the email address at the bottom right side of the screen. These are our previous event sponsors. They've been very supportive to ensure that the vision of Tech Expo Africa keeps going on, and we are much glad that we're staying in sync with you to ensure sustainability of the vision. Well, if you would like to join us, please feel free to connect with us on any of our platforms, on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. It's just Tech Expo AF. And then on Telegram, we'll be sharing the link to the Telegram community if you would like to join our Telegram community, so that you can know what is happening within the Tech Expo Africa community. We'll be so glad to have you. Thank you all for watching this. I hope to connect with you more in our community and see how we can do great and amazing things together. Thank you very much. I will yield the mic back to Nemi and John. Cheers.
All right. Thank you so much for the brief introduction and for sharing with us the objectives for this event. So right about now, I would like to appreciate our sponsors for today's event, which are School Rex and City Lights. School Rex and City Lights. Please, can we have their images shown on the screen?
Running a school is complex. As a school manager, you have to juggle many responsibilities, from managing school fees to ensuring quality learning and keeping parents informed. But with School Rex, you can take control. School Rex eliminates payment delays. You can send payment notifications to parents and give them a convenient way to pay tuition from anywhere in the world. You can also see which students need extra help and which classes they are enrolled in. With the School Rex admin portal, you can let your data tell you what's really going on. Here are some specific examples of how School Rex can help you. Manage your school branches. You can easily keep track of your different school branches, including their finances, fees, and students. Track income and expenses with a comprehensive overview of your school's income and expenses. School Rex can help you identify areas where you can save money or increase revenue. School Rex allows you to receive payments from students for tuition and other fees. You can also send receipts to students for their records. School Rex makes it easy to assign school fees for different classes. Send bulk messages to students, teachers, and parents. Compute results automatically and view them worldwide. Offer e-learning with CBT, online classes, and e-books. School Rex can generate detailed reports on all of the data you've inputted. This can be used to track your school's progress and identify areas where you can improve. School Rex also facilitates collaboration between parents and teachers. It helps them work together to create the best learning experience for your students. To get started, visit www.schoolrex.ng.
Thank you very much once again, School Rex, for sponsoring today's webinar. We're most grateful to you. So right about now, we'll be having a brief introduction of our speaker for today's event. Our speaker in the person of AB. We call her AB, but her full name is all right, Princess Bukola Adelekon. Oh. So please kindly play a brief introduction of her, the brief video that introduces our speaker for today. Thank you so much.
Princess Bukola Adelekon Okiji, also known as AB, is a qualified and certified project manager and Prince 2 practitioner and a safe analyst. AB uses her skills gained from her diverse wealth of experience in the health, education, and government sectors to build and maintain strong relationships with various worldwide agencies and organizations to identify and maximize opportunities. Her professional experience includes freelance consulting and spearheading cultural, fashion, and health tech events, as well as blockchain initiatives and projects. Among her specialties are project management training, program and portfolio management development, business and personal coaching, and leadership development and training. AB currently holds a senior program and change management position within the health sector, where she is actively involved in delivering digital transformation programs. Furthermore, AB serves as a senior member of the organization and oversees the organization's strategic and corporate frameworks. Aside from her roles within the National Health Service, AB runs ABPMX, a community for new and professional project managers to level up their planning and organization skills through programs and workshops to build their knowledge and confidence. Apart from organizing social, inclusive, and community events, AB also serves as lead project manager and head of operations of Africa Fashion Week London, the largest and the longest running successful Black fashion show in Europe. It has always been AB's mission to give back to her communities through information, advice, and guidance. She has always supported, developed, and integrated her voice in some way. This is to support and develop the educational, training, social, civic, and cultural needs of young ethnic minority communities worldwide, particularly partnering with her organizations to maintain the unique culture and values of the community through awareness programs as well as local and international events. Her passion for balancing her professional and entrepreneurial roles led her to create Global Moonlighters, a community for professionals who run side businesses. AB holds both undergraduate and postgraduate degrees in law, business, and technology. AB is a dynamic motivator and strategist with a strong passion for the growth of cultural innovation, women-focused projects through modern skills application, and digital transformation as conduits of wealth generation and development worldwide.
Hello, welcome, welcome, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us. Princess Bukola, thank you so much. We are really excited to have you here, ma'am. I hope you can hear me.
I can hear you very clearly. Thank you so
All
much
right.
for having me.
All right, so the stage is yours, ma'am.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really pleased. Oh my goodness, what a great introduction. Thank you, Tech Expo Africa, for the opportunity to share my journey and also to talk to you about best ways to navigate into the project management landscape. What an amazing introduction. I think my CV has just been read out to me in plain sight in less than 30 seconds. For those that don't know me, I actually prefer to be known as AB because previously a number of people used to call me Ask Bookie and kind of shorten it to AB. I have been in a project management landscape, I would say, indirectly for over 2 decades now. But more professionally in the past decade or so. I am currently head of projects within the National Health System, supporting transformational programs and projects for the outcome for patient outcomes. I'm pleased to be talking to you about best ways to navigate in the African global market. So if you have any questions, please use the comment section and I will be sharing, I'll be able to answer your questions. I was thinking about best ways to bring you into the world of project management. And I had a short presentation and I thought it might be great for me to kind of go through that with you. But before I do, I would say becoming a project manager has really changed my life. For the best part of, let's say, 10 years or so, I literally transitioned careers over a period of like 10 to 15 years. I went from being in the legal space to being in the policy space, and then finding myself in communications, and then finally being in the project management space, which was actually accidental. There are 2 things that happens to project managers, how they find themselves in this space. It's either they find themselves in this space intentionally, meaning that they actually go about finding out how to become project managers, or they find themselves unintentionally, where we call people like myself accidental project managers. And I fell into this space and I've I don't think I'll find myself transitioning into another career, because this career has really and truly worked for me. I came in from the bottom as a junior in a junior role, with a really fancy name. And being in a junior role, within 6 months or so, I was promoted. I came in as a junior project manager. It was called a senior project officer, which is another phrase, another word for junior project management. And then from there, within 6 months, I became a digital transformation project manager. And I will talk about how I navigated that and how that transition really propelled me to create a career roadmap. And that's when I really became serious about, where do I want to see myself in the next 3 years? Where do I want to see myself in the next 5 years? Where do I want to see myself in the next 10 years? And that's how I created my career roadmap. And in that career roadmap, I said, if I was able to get myself into a project management role without any, mind you, I did have my degrees, but I didn't have any project management certifications. So I had to say to myself, what do I need to do to level myself up to the next level? So I created a career roadmap, and I have a template. It's on my Twitter space. I think I've shared it God knows how many times. If you would like to ask for that, please put that in the comment section, or find me on Twitter. Send me a DM. I'll be happy to share that with you. So the career roadmap literally was my 10-year career plan as to how I need to get myself to the very top as a leading project manager. And if anyone tells you that there is no way to level up after becoming a project manager, that is absolutely false. There are opportunities once you become a project manager that you can then go into becoming an assistant project lead, to becoming a senior program manager, to becoming a director project program manager, to overall becoming head of projects like I am right now. And there are ways in which you can actually diversify into other spaces with your project management skill set. So that's just to clear that up. Now, to come into this, because I know maybe majority of you are in the tech space and thinking, or maybe some of you are thinking about coming into the tech space and thinking, I'm not a strong coder, and I want to be able to work in the tech space. And the project management pathway is actually the right pathway for you if you're thinking of that, of becoming a non-tech project manager. You can absolutely do that. And you can utilize the skill sets that you learn as a project manager to put yourself into spaces. What I'm trying to say is that you should never discount your previous work experience. So if you're coming into the space and you want to go into the tech space and you're thinking to yourself, I want a career in tech, becoming a project manager is one pathway. And how do you do that? It's really, really simple. The first thing you have to do is that you have to acknowledge what your skill sets are. What skill set do I currently have that I can put myself into a position, into a project management position? So you do a bit of like a skill set analysis of what skills I have and what skills does it take for me to become a project manager. And the best way to kind of actually start doing that is utilizing, Google, LinkedIn, reviewing JDs of current project managers, or even checking on LinkedIn what current project managers down as their career pathway. What careers have they had for them to become project managers, and understanding what skill sets it's taking them to get to where they are, and looking at those skill sets and saying to yourself, can I do this? Am I adaptable? Do I have good communication skills? Do I have good negotiating skills? Do I know how to write? Because communication isn't just about talking, it's also about writing. Do I have a level of emotional intelligence to be able to deal with different personalities, right? So reviewing all these skill sets and then looking at yourself and being truly honest with yourself and saying yes or no. And now, if it's a yes, then it's a lot easier, because then you can transition those skill sets, put them onto your CV, and start to look for work experience. Now, if you don't have those skill sets, you need to start asking yourself, how do I acquire those skill sets? If you're the sort of person that's a bit introverted, don't like talking, don't like communicating, I will never say that this career is not for you. What I would say is that you might have to do a bit of work around communication. finding yourself spaces where you can practice public speaking, finding yourself in places where you can talk, where you can communicate, finding yourself opportunities on how to, write business cases and so forth. So while you're doing that and building up those skill set, I would recommend taking a few online programs, a few online courses. There's many of them on the internet at this present moment, as opposed to when I started. You can go online, check online. I know the most renowned one is the Google certification. You can try that. There's a couple of others. There's Oxford Online. You can try. All this is accessible while you're in Africa. It's totally accessible worldwide. So check on those online programs, review them, take a couple of those online programs and figure out whether or not you understand some of the terminologies that's being used. Also figure out or not whether it is the career that you're choosing, that you like, that it would be of interest to you. Now, when you've done that, then in order to make your CV stand out, I would advise considering certification. Now, in Africa, there are a number of certifications that you can take. There is PMP. Before you do the PMP, I would suggest doing the CAPM. There is also the Prince 2, and there are a couple of other programs that are coming up that are becoming quite popular. But if you're trying to, let's say, go to another country or relocate to another country, it depends on which area. If you're going to go to the US, definitely the PMP is more renowned, more respected. If you're coming to Europe or coming to the United Kingdom, the Prince 2 is well respected. So review those certifications and see whether or not it's something that you might want to explore. Now, on my journey, it wasn't the case for me because like I mentioned earlier on, I was an accidental project manager. I literally had to learn on the job. And through learning on the job, I understand the importance of getting certification. What certification does for you is that it allows for people to listen to you. It gives you a sense of authority. It gives you an understanding of the theory. Now, the beauty about having theory and practicality is that it makes you an all-round project manager. So I would say that you explore those things. And another skill set to consider in becoming a project manager would most definitely be acquiring and building your leadership skill sets, right? You have to learn how to motivate your team. You have to understand the importance of conflict resolution. You have to start being an all-round leader, right? Management and leadership are not the same thing. Management is about managing people, right? Leadership is about cultivating people. And that's another session in its own entirety. And you have to be a good problem solver, right? A number of us have this skill set where we look for problems, but sometimes it's difficult for us to have solutions, right? But you have to be a good problem solver, because in project management, a number of issues will come, a number of risks will come, and you have to start adapting the essence of, there is this problem, how do I resolve it, right? So project managers need to start working and adapting to resolving issues, not just resolving issues and challenges, but also identifying and analyzing them, right? And this could be especially during project execution, like I mentioned earlier on. What else can I say? As a project manager as well, you have to embrace this culture of continuously learning. You have to learn. You can't be stagnant. You can't be like, this is how we do it and this is how we're going to always have to do it. That spirit of adaptability has to be a part of you. You have to find yourself adapting to different ways and different ways of doing things. So you have to embrace that culture of learning. You have to stay updated about industry trends. You have to think about emerging technologies. Now that we live in this world of AI, which I think is fantastic and beautiful at the same thing. There's this thing. I remember when the internet came about, donkey years ago now, you have many people that didn't want to use the internet. And what happened to them? They got left behind. And when they got left behind, eventually they had to learn when they could have learned from the very beginning. So if you're a project manager and you want to be stuck in your ways, you're not adapting to new ways of working, new ways of learning, especially around the AI landscape, you will be left behind. So you have to start building that culture of continuously wanting to learn, right? And I would emphasize the importance of acquiring project management knowledge, right? It is very, very important that you understand what project management is. You understand the principles of project management, the methodologies around project management. You understand best practices in project management. And also, like I mentioned earlier on, the importance of getting certified, you know, the PMP, the CAPM, the Prince2, the Agile, you know, different ways of learning. Okay. I had a short presentation, so that's just a quick overview. And I think it would be a great idea if I share with you just for 10 minutes what project management is and how to go about, you know, I've shared with you how to go about becoming project managers. Yeah, that's fine. But if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. So allow me to quickly share this presentation. Hopefully it would. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. Let's share screen. Let's see what happens. It will be an entire screen. Let me do a window. I share this. So bear with me. It should show up. Fantastic. So let's go really quickly because I know I've only got 40 minutes and I just want to give you a little overview of what project is and project management is. So I want to get you enthusiastic about this space, right? Because oftentimes a lot of people come onto spaces and say, yes, it's great to do this, it's great to do this, but they don't encompass what it is and how it is, right? So if you want to understand what a project is, a project I've learned, right, especially within our community, everything is a project, right? People like to say everything is a project, but not everything is a project. There are a number of things that we do all the time continuously. Those things are not projects. Why? Because they don't have end dates. They don't have any specific outcome. They are continuous work that we're constantly doing. And in our landscape, we call them business as usual, BAU. But a project itself has a number of characteristics. The most important thing is that it's unique. It has a set of tasks. And we use, and it has a start and end date. If someone says, oh, I'm running a project, if you ask them, when are we starting and when are we finished, and they can't give you, it's not a project. So simply, that's what a project is. And a project is, especially when we are using people, resources, and a set of objectives. So let's and then the reason why project management is one of the careers to get into right now is because of this reason. So many projects fail without proper planning, without proper communication, with so many misunderstanding, you know, poor management and so forth. Projects are failing every single day. And the reason why is because we don't have that, you know, adequate resource, either is expertise or the tools to be able to manage them properly. I'm running through the slides really, really quickly because, you know, limited time and I've already spoken for 20 minutes. Now, projects, I've explained to you what projects is. Project management really is the utilization and the method and the guiding of guiding the project from start to finish, right? But what does this include? It includes the project lifecycle, the initiating, the planning, the scheduling, the controlling, the executing, and then the closing. These are the things that fall under project management. Why? Because the objective is what? To keep it to performance, to keep it to cost, to keep it to time. To keep it within cost and budget, to keep it to time. And as a project manager, you need to understand the difference between a project and project management. As a project manager, what you're doing is project managing. And as a project manager, what you're doing is project managing, and you're utilizing your skill set, your resource, and then your the tools that you have to be able to do that, to run the project from start to finish. Okay. Now, swiftly. So when we talk about the concept of project management, to understand projects, there are key concepts you need to know and you need to adhere to when you're running a project. The scope, what is the project trying to deliver in simple terms? And that's where you get your deliverables. Time, when is the project starting to finish? What is the time constraint to be able to complete that project? Cost, budget, of course. Quality, does the project meet the standard that it was set out in the beginning? Communication, how are people communicating to facilitate and foster collaboration for the project? Risk management, understand the risks elements and the issues that's going to happen when you're running the project and how are you going to mitigate that? Stakeholder management, which is one of my superpowers as well, is the importance of engaging with the stakeholders throughout the life cycle of the project. These are key concepts that you need to know about project management when you're coming into this space. You need to understand, can I define what the project is actually going to do? Do I have the capabilities to be able to finish this project when it's been asked to do? Do I have the analytical mindset to be able to analyze the costings and the budget of the project, right? Do I have the skill set? Do I have the communication skill set to manage people and to manage stakeholders? And that's the reason why I share this slide with you. Now, let's move on swiftly. I mentioned the life cycle earlier on. The life cycle is really, really simple. If you understand the concept of the project management life cycle, you are a project manager. You do that every day in your everyday life right now. When you're planning your trips, or you're planning trips away, or you're managing your children's, your children's birthdays or their events, you run through this project life cycle, but you just didn't realize that that's what you were doing. In the beginning, you're project initiating. You're thinking about what needs to happen for that birthday party to happen. Then you're planning it and you're putting down the risk. You're understanding, if this happened, then we do this. If the DJ doesn't show up, we will have music anyway because we'll play our sound system. Project executing is when everything starts to happen. The monitoring is when you're monitoring during the party. How is everything going? Are all the stakeholders, the children, friends, are they happy? And then you close the project when everybody goes out the party and you're like, was that a success? That's literally the project life cycle. If you understand this concept, you are a project manager. I always say everyone's a project manager anyway. So there are a number of methodologies that you need to understand. So earlier when I was talking about when you come into this space, what certifications do you need to have for you to understand the concept, the frameworks and the methodologies? This is standards, right? So right now, if you're a project manager in the 1970s, normally the waterfall method works because it's the linear approach. In order for the next step to happen, the first step needs to happen and we go that way. But now we live in an agile world. We live in a world where we have technology. There's so many iterations, and that's why we have the introduction of agile, the likes of agile frameworks, which includes like Scrum, Kanban. These are names that you probably heard before, but I thought to share this with you. So it really helps when you're coming into this space for you to learn methodologies to help you navigate really, really easily. Now, my favorite part, tools to be able to make you that project manager, tools to make you do your work better. We have this phrase of, it's not just about working harder, but working smarter as well. So there are a number of tools that you can see right now. Back in the day, we used to have Microsoft projects, but now we have the likes of Trello, which helps us with the Kanban. We have ClickUp, we have Teams, we have Asana, we have Basecamps to be able to communicate. We have, work breakdown. Those are simple stuff. Work breakdown schedule. These are tool sets that will help you to manage your project, to track your progress, to manage time, to share, documents, and to collaborate. Swiftly going through this, and these are some of my favorite ones that I use: Trello, Monday.com, Asana. I use Rike as well. I absolutely love it. No. Your role as a project manager, I mentioned leadership, people management, effective communication. The role that you play in influencing is, trust me, is something you need to learn. Negotiating, delegating, having the art to delegate. As a project manager, you are not the subject matter expert. You're not the one doing the work. You have to know how to delegate at the right time. Conflict management is one of them. I mentioned budgeting, planning, time management, contract management comes into play as well, especially during procurement, problem solving, and critical thinking. These are great things you need to know. Project management, what do we actually do, right? We plan, we're looking for risk all the time, we're making sure things are done well, we're motivating our team, just like Tech Expo just said, managers need to motivate their team. We coordinate the work that needs to be done by different people. We're dealing with constant changes, and we're making sure that the project actually delivers, right? So when people tell me, oh, project managers just sit by and just let other people do the work, that is so not true. Try to manage people by yourself to do things. Try to tell people what to do, right? Try. It's a skill, right? So to become a project manager, you need to understand what the project management skill set is. You need to start building your project management experience. You need to develop your skills. You need to enhance your CV and your resume, and you need to start looking for entry-level positions, even if it means that, volunteering work. And you also need to consider taking a course that will give you certification. Yes, it has its challenges and it has its cons, but I think the pros, not its cons, it has its pros and it has its challenges. I think the pros outweighs the cons. Absolutely, hands down. Absolutely. But these are the reasons why. Moving on really, really quickly, courses to consider. I mentioned the top ones, which are the CAPM and where's the PMP and the PMP, and of course Prince 2, which is here. So you've got Prince 2 Agile, Prince 2 Foundation, but there are a number of other ones that you might want to consider. I mentioned earlier on that there are free online courses that you can take. You've got Oxford online, you've got the basics, PMP. There's also Kickoff, which gives you like a badge at the end of stuff. Also, I run an organization called abpmx.org. Go onto our website. We have a number of programs that we have going on there as well that you might want to consider. But overall, there are pathways, certified and non-certified. But I would say, I've already explained this, learn the gaps that you have within your project management knowledge, get the knowledge, learn everything you can, start learning project management software, understand what kind of project manager do I want to be? Do I want to focus on the traditional way of project managing, or do I want to work on the more agile way of project managing, or do I want to be hybrid and mix all of it together like I do? So that's where I am. Project management is a career that is respected worldwide. And project management isn't just one silo, right? You can literally work in different fields in project management, from food, aerospace, construction, pharmaceutical, healthcare. I get so many people wanting to transition from healthcare and pharmacy into project management. Legal, information, engineering, business. People they transition into this space and they're doing exceptionally well. Okay. What else? So what do you need to get started? Go onto ABPMX, find out more information about, and also the internet is filled with so many resources. So my tip for you in becoming project manager, everything is a project. The first step in becoming a project manager is to start thinking and acting like one. Start understanding some of the skill set you have and not discrediting it and bringing it into this space. Start becoming passionate about this space. When I talk about project management, my face lights up. I'm excited about it because it's a career that is really rewarding for me, right? Research your dream job within this space. Research the skill set that is going to take. Focus on how you're going to fill those gaps. And also, if you can, find mentorship and get some coaching. Start volunteering and learn to start to upskill yourself. And I think that's the end of my presentation right now. So if you have any questions, please do ask questions. Now, I don't know, I think to answer the question as to why I came into this space as an African in diaspora, let me stop sharing now. If anybody wants a copy of the presentation, please feel free to reach out to Tech Expo Africa and I'll be happy to share through them. Now, if you're trying to relocate or you are coming to the UK or Europe, the project management landscape is definitely a successful one. As an African and as a Black person, as a woman, there are a number of challenges that you might encounter. But one advice I always give people, when people ask me, how have you been able to climb up the ladder really quickly? I remove all the noise. And I focus on my focus. I focus on where I need to get to. And that's why having that career roadmap that I mentioned earlier on is very, very important. Where do I see myself in the first 6 months of my career? Where do I see myself in the next 1 year, 3 years, 5 years? And now, how do I get there? What are the things I need to get there? What do I have that is not transferring onto that career roadmap? And that's how I build my journey. Any other challenges or issues or risks that comes into place, I acknowledge them and I mitigate them, but I don't focus on them. I focus on the journey at hand, right? And that's why I've been able to be where I am. And I love sharing. I love sharing my journey because the beauty about it was that it was unintentional and I am here now. And I've been able to utilize my project management skill set to work in different spaces. I work within fashion, I work in the blockchain, the Web3 space, I work in healthcare, I work in the education space. So project management is one of those careers that will most definitely open doors for you. So I believe that's about, I'm not sure if I've spoken for 30 minutes or 40 minutes or what have you, but if you have questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you so much for your time.
All right, thank you so much, Ma. That was a very wonderful presentation. I mean, I personally was just jotting down things because I'm even considering whether to switch to project management now. I mean, really, it was a wonderful presentation, and I really think it's something everybody can do. Because a lot of people, just like Nimi said the other time, a lot of people think when we are talking about tech, it's all about coding, coding, coding. But when people know about this side of tech, it's something they would love to consider. But I have a question here from Tosin in LinkedIn. I will read it out. He said, I have a question. From my experience in Africa here, most of my projects, I usually don't get to be able to use some of the tools and documentation approaches. I know usually the reason is because even my bosses don't know how to use them or understand them. This, in a way, also affects my continuous learning practically. What would you advise in this scenario?
Okay, thank you. That's such a beautiful question. Thank you so much, Mr. Godwin. What I would say is sometimes people don't like change. They are used to how things used to work. And a perfect example is that when I jumped into this space as well, one of the reasons I got promoted within 6 months of joining this space was because I introduced tools, right? Which made me very well connected in the organization, and it also made me a single point of failure as well, meaning that I couldn't get sacked, So the challenges that we tend to have is because people don't know these things and people are afraid of the unknown. What I would suggest to you is that if you have a particular tool that you like, you find out and you learn about it, and you use a scenario in your workplace and you work on that. You work on what it looked like using the current system. And then you show them what it looks like in the new system. And you highlight the benefits of using this new tool or this new way of documentation. And you present it to your bosses. You do it in such a way, you present it to your bosses as to what are the benefits of utilizing this tool. And then change, obviously, is one of those things that is very, very difficult. You can't force it down on them. You can't say, this is what needs to be done. And absolutely, you have to show explanation as to why working smarter and hard at the same time is the way to go. So let's say, for example, you were asked to create a project plan and you were using an Excel spreadsheet. I love Excel, by the way. And you were using an Excel spreadsheet, but not everybody knows how to use Excel. Not everybody knows how to use the formula. And you found something like Monday.com or Asana or Rike, and you put all of your deliverables into these new tools. And then you do a presentation and you show them, because a lot of these agile tools are incorporated, a lot of these agile tools are incorporated with a lot of AI. And with the AI, it makes things a lot snazzy, it makes it look nicer, and I'm sure they'll be sold. Now, a different concept about continuous learning. A lot of organizations oftentimes don't want their employees, not that they don't really encourage, getting certified, or if you don't have the certification, they wouldn't have employed it in the first place, but get an additional certification. Why? Because obviously they probably don't want to pay for it. But if you're really passionate about your career, you would invest in yourself. And if you invest in yourself, you would add value to your organization. And as you are adding value to your organization is going to see it. So to answer this question, it takes you to be proactive for you to get the results that you need. If you're not proactive, you're not going to get the results that you need. And you end up using the old tools that you are using. If you see another way of doing something, then you have to be proactive in doing it. Don't wait for your organization to create that space for you. Don't wait for your organization to create those tools so you'll bring tools to you. We now live in a world and a space where the internet gives us these, open source and facilities to be able to do our work properly. And when you do that and you present it, and they will then see the benefit. They will see that, oh, Tosin was working on this project. It took her like 2 weeks to be able to do this, but she was able to do it in one day. Come on. If you are able to bring those advantages to them, I'm sure their mindset will start to change and the culture will start to change and they will start to incorporate new ways of working. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you so much, Ma, for that. Nemi, over to you.
All right, thank you so much, AB. So I have a question here, and the question goes thus. As an expert in the project management landscape, can you highlight a time when you had a very difficult project to handle, and then how did you surpass that difficult project?
Oh gosh, there's currently one I'm working with right now. Because what people tend to understand is in project management, people always try to focus project management on processes rather than people and technology. So we have people, processes, technology. They'll say the process sometimes is a problem because people don't really understand what the process is in terms of the clarity around it. You get the tech people that understands it, and then you get the non-tech people that don't understand it. So there has to be a marriage of that. Then you have people, which I'm going to come back to later because that's the challenge to answer your question. And the technology side of things is either you get it or you don't, as per the last question that we just had, right? But I want to focus on the element of people. Challenges that we have within project management, which people try to underestimate, is stakeholder management, managing different types of people. And that's why it's very important as a project manager, you need to understand what your temperament is, your emotional intelligence, how you communicate with people. So for me, my experience quite recently, I've been asked to come and work on a project in Nigeria, so remotely. And in this project has been ongoing, and new people have been brought onto the project where there has been no clear definition in terms of roles and responsibilities. No roles and responsibilities have been handed out. And I've been brought in as a project manager to spearhead this project. The major challenge that I first experienced were people were doing other people's roles. People were encroaching on other people's roles, and it was giving them a level of authority. I actually want to tell a story, and I hope she gets to see this. I met a young girl that has been told that she will be supporting the tech team. So it's a web application project. It's an e-commerce web application project. It's a massive one, and new teams have been brought in. New development team have been brought in for the next MVP of the project. And a young lady, very ambitious, completely overzealous, really wants to do her work. I don't know whether it's a Gen Z baddie thing or anything like that, but she came in really, really enthusiastic. And but the problem was she wanted to take charge of everything. And myself coming, and I think maybe she felt slightly threatened or what have you. But I think my role as the project manager coming into the space was making sure that everybody understood what their roles and responsibilities were. It was very challenging at first because it was miscommunication. She was told to do this and other people were told other things. And she probably slightly felt that to exert her leadership. And that's why I was talking about management and leadership earlier on. You need to understand that management is not the same as leadership. If you've been told to manage a team, it's going to be very process driven. If you've been told to lead a team, it's going to be very people driven. And we need to learn ways to actually really manage all three components of a project really, really, really well, which is processes, people, and technology. So for me, the best way that I was able to manage that challenge is communication. Communicating that, to manage her challenges, to manage her, let's say, her feeling that her role was not important, her feeling the need to want to manage it and to want to manage a team, but letting her see it from a different perspective, that it isn't just about management, it's about leadership. And that's another thing. When you're coming in as a project manager, you also have to understand not just motivating people, but also leading from empathy as well. Because oftentimes, and I've noticed it in a number of projects, especially projects in Africa, can I say? I think the way in which we lead is often too focused. It's too focused on the technology and process as opposed to people. Why? Because it's the people that need to do the work. If the people are not good, the work is not going to be done, right? Yes, processes are very important, but it's people that's going to drive the work to get it to the finish line. So how I navigate it is making sure that I recognize the people that need to do the work. I communicate what needs to be done. I lead from a space of empathy, and I communicate I communicate the end line. What does good look like? What is it collectively good looks like? We're trying to do a project. The project isn't about me. The project isn't about you. But what does good look like at the end for us? How would we be celebrating all the efforts and all the work that we need to do? And if we all have a clear vision and we're all on the same vision, then the work will get done regardless. So yeah, I hope that answers.
Right.
Thank you so much, Ibi, for that question. I was going to ask you as well. I was going to ask you another question. I was going to ask another question, but it seemed like you've used a stone to kill two birds. So the second question I was going to ask you was people management, managing the stakeholders in a project. So I was going to ask you that as well, but then you've answered that question already.
Thank you.
But
Thank you,
we
Nemi.
have one more question from Michael Ikemugbe on LinkedIn. So he says, yeah, thank you. You're most welcome. So he says, hi, Bukola, what tool would be the best to learn as a newbie in project management? Hi, Bukola, what tool would be the best to learn as a newbie in project management?
So many tools, so many tools. We're spoiled with choices right now. So when you're starting as a newbie in project management, the first thing you're going to be asked, you're going to be given a project. And the first thing you're going to be asking is, how are you going to manage this project? What are you going to do? First thing you need to understand is, what is the project trying to achieve, right? And then you create what we call a WBS, a work breakdown schedule. Because however small the project is and however big the project is, you have to understand what needs to be delivered. And you have to break that project into small little chunks, right? Even if it's as simple as boiling a cup of tea, making a cup of tea, right? What are the steps that you need to take to be able to make sure that you drink that cup of tea, right? So project management is about the practicality of breaking down things into small chunks. So as a newbie, whatever you're asked to do, think about how to break down the thing that you've been asked to do into small little chunks of deliverables, tasks. So a work breakdown schedule is the first technical document, I would say. Yes, a lot of people say a project brief, project documentation, literally a visualized version. And one tool that will help you to do that is Trello, right? Which focuses on the Kanban, Scrumban methodology, right? Trello. And a number of other programs does that, like ClickUp, what's another one? Monday.com, they do that. You can list down the list of deliverables and it will create that work breakdown schedule, right? Before we had Trello and before we had ClickUp and all these things, we used to use Excel. Some people use Excel, some people use PowerPoint. I even think if you go onto Excel, you can actually see, or you can even Google, type in work breakdown schedule, and you get a couple of Google Sheets, free Google Sheet that will break down how you break down, maybe it's a software development program, you break down through the project life cycle, what are the things that I need to do, and you'll do it for you. And that gives you a really good Gantt chart of things that needs to be delivered when and who needs to deliver it at that point. Sometimes these Gantt charts even have much more details. And the Gantt chart is a process that probably came from the project management software. So work breakdown schedule is how I would answer that question. Breaking down your projects into small little chunks, understanding who the owners are for each of those tasks, understanding the timeline to be able to complete those tasks, and you're good to go. because it follows the project life cycle process. Yeah. Hello.
Thank you so much, AB. So, Michael, the second question. Yes, of course, the presentation is going to be available after this webinar, and it's going to be sent across all platforms so you could receive it as well. So, AB, you mentioned something about before ClickUp and before Trello got into place, we're using Excel. I think I got that correctly. Excel sheets.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yes. We use even a number of professional.
All right. Yeah, beautiful. So I would also like to add up that. Proceed, please.
Okay, so even a number of project managers right now, they still use Excel because for them the formulas are there and it's easy for them. And a number of organizations, just like a previous question was asking about organizations not adapting to new tools. The Excel spreadsheet really, really works. You can use it to project manage your projects from start to finish, right? You can have a project management workbook, which will have your project plan, it will have your actions, it will have your decision, it will have your risk management, right? It will have, and it will just be one workbook, which you can use for your projects, which you can use depending on what methodology you're using. But now, because we're now using Agile, it's less documentation, it's more about the doing of the work. So a lot of people just want to see high level planning, and that's absolutely okay. But if you're going to start in this space, it doesn't hurt for you to understand a bit of Excel, just in case some of those tools are not available in the organization that you join.
Yeah, beautiful. And I like the fact that you said the first tool that you will need to understand is a work breakdown schedule. A work breakdown schedule. Thank you so much for that. I believe that even all these tools we have now, including Trello, including ClickUp, and the rest of them, all of these tools we have now, I'm trying to read management without us even knowing about it. From the initiation to the planning to the execution to the closing of the project, we all do project management in our day-to-day activities without us knowing. And then I'm asking myself, what document or what kind of tool do we use? And none of us we use our books, we use our pen and our papers to address or to solve these problems of project management. So it could even go as far as the crude tools of our pen and our paper before we even begin to talk about the Trello and the ClickUp and even the Excel sheets you get. So I like the fact that you had to go down to the nitty-gritty and talk about that. The first tool that you need to understand is the work breakdown schedule. So before you leave, we have one more question here. It says, it is from Philip. Please, could you put that question again? Yes, Philip Akinpelu. He says, and what are the major documents required by a project manager to manage a project from end to end? And I think you've quite answered that question. But if you'd like to give a recap on that, that would be really fine.
Yeah, I'll explain it a little bit more as well. So if you're following a project life cycle, right, there are simple project documentations that you can use. But you should take it one step further and say, what methodology and frameworks am I using to run this project with? The Prince 2 methodology has its sets of principles and themes and processes that you have to run through. And they have their own dedicated project documentations that you will use, same way as PMBOK and all others, right? But in simplicity, right? If you're going to start a project, right, in any organization, it is great for you to have a project brief. And this is just and project brief for different organization works in different ways. It can just be as easy as just an email, right? Or it could be as easy as a documentation, simple documentations that just outlines what is it that you're trying to achieve with the project, right? And once you have that project brief, it will take you to then formalize a business case. The business case will outline the need for the project. What is it that the project is going to achieve? What's it going to cost? And so forth, right? In some organizations, you would create what we call a PID, a project initiation initiation, documentation. But now we live in the agile world. In most cases, we don't need that. As long as you have a project charter or project brief, business case. Another tool, another documentation that I would highly recommend is having a project communication plan. Like I mentioned earlier on about the challenges that we have in organization, which is around stakeholders, management, dealing with different staff members and so forth like that. If you have a communication plan, it helps to know who needs to communicate it to, when and why, and what the frequencies are. So to manage expectations, right? With the work breakdown schedule, it helps you have a project schedule, right? The project schedule, which will then translate into a Gantt chart, right? Which will then translate to how you manage and monitor and control your project. What else? Project budget. You need to understand the budget that your project needs and monitor. The RACI, in terms, not all the time, most people don't have that. It's called the RACI matrix, which is the RACI matrix, which talks about the roles and responsibilities of each person, the key stakeholders in your project. What else can I consider? In some organization, they'll have what you call like a change request management, which also is essential, especially if you're dealing with software development or anything tech. Risk log that I mentioned earlier on, because it lets you know, self-explanatory, managing risks. The most common one that you'll probably use as a project manager is an action and issue log, because you're listing out all the actions that needs to be done and you're monitoring it. And last but not least, one of my favorite is a lessons log. When I teach my students about in project management, I always ask one question, and it always grab people in the wrong way. I would say, when you run a project, when do you start acquiring your lessons learned? When do you start documenting your lessons learned? And most people always answer at the end of the project, which is not true. You are acquiring your lessons learned throughout the course of your project. So having a lessons learned log will help you as a project manager to learn from your challenges, and also the key stakeholders in the project understand how the project can be run better. And that's why whenever I start a project, I always ask, has this project been done before? What has been the lessons learned from that project? And I pick out that lesson learned and incorporate it into my new project. And I have, as much as I have an action log and an issue log, I also have a lesson log as well. So those, high level. And last but not least, if you're going to have a project board of any sort, highlight reports, right? Highlight report documentation lets you communicate with your project sponsors, your project boards, how well the project is running. You're giving them that level of assurance that this project is going as planned. Or if it's not going as planned and you need to escalate the issues, escalate them so that you can get the right contingencies, you can get the support needed for you to run a project. A bad manager is one that always thinks that he's got it in control when he hasn't got it in control. So speaking up and escalating does not make you a bad project manager, okay? What makes you a bad project manager is when you think you've got everything in control and you haven't got it in control. But those are the basics that I would say you would require to run your project successfully.
All right, thank you so much, AB. We have one more question here. So now you understand that there is like a marriage between data analysis, project and management, and the rest. So I know you're laughing already. So now this person is asking, how important is data analysis skill in project management? And I also understand that there is product management and a program manager. But then, with regards to this question, is how important is data analysis skill to the project management space?
It's becoming more and more important. That's why I'm laughing, because I myself had to jump on a data course this year. And that's what I mean as a project manager. You can't just be linear. You can't just be like, I'm a project manager, I don't need to learn anything else. You have to start thinking about ways in which you can become better, within your space? How can you make yourself more valuable in your space? So data analysis is one of the data period is one of those things that you should learn. So for me, trying to understand. So as a project manager, remember I talked about highlight report earlier on, and there are some data that you will put inside your highlight report into how successful your project is running. There will be some KPIs, some key performance indicators that have been highlighted at the beginning of the project that says the project is successful if we were to achieve this, right? So that's how you're going to measure the success of the project. Running a project isn't just a case of we start the project, we finish it, and we deliver the project. No, there are certain metrics that needs to be identified at the beginning of the project that will let you know whether the project is successful. Now, talking about data analysis, it is those metrics that you are going to use to understand the outcomes of what the project is. So data analysis is important, and it is great as a project manager for you to understand the importance of data sets, to understand how to extract insights in your project and be able to manage it and to be able to report on it, right? So when you're creating highlight report and you're just doing rag race of this is red, this is amber, this is green, that doesn't help, right? Why is it red? Why is it green? Why is it amber? In those elements, you take from the key performance metrics, be able to apply that to it, and it will make you an all-round effective project manager. So it helps if you're able to read data, if you're able to analyze data, it's definitely a skill set to have. So data analysis works hand in hand. And when we talk about data management, we're talking about business intelligence, right? And this is where business is. So if you're trying to explore into the data space as well, start to explore career as a business intelligence personnel. But yes, data is definitely one of those skill sets that I myself had to learn, and I love it. I'm not that analytical in mind, but I love that the work that I'm doing has data to back it up.
All right, thank you, AB. Thank you so much, AB. So that in short, data analysis skill is a very important skill to the project management space. I hope you got that. The person who asked that question. So we have one more question. Which is better between action and issue log and the raid log? Which is better between action and issue log and the raid log?
All right. Action and issue log are part of raid. That answers it. So your raid log is a component of your actions and your issues. Actions is about the work that needs to be completed and work that needs to be done. The raid will talk about who's responsible for their actions, right? So we use the raid log. You say raid or you say action is one and the same. Yeah, does that make sense? I think the person is mixing them together. The raid log is going to have information as to who's doing the action, right? There's no better. Does that answer? There's no better. You need an action log, your action and your issue log.
All right, thank you.
If you want within your action log, you can say who's responsible for what. Which then makes a raid log.
So, Mr. Philip, I hope you got the answer to your question. It's really indeed a very great session today. We've had a really good time with you, AB. Thank you so much once again for coming around and gracing us. Oh, we have one more question. Okay, so Philip says, that means the raid log is more explicit type of the same document, right?
Yeah.
More explicit type of the same document.
It's more extensive, yes.
Oh, there you have your answer, Philip. Thank you so much, every one of us for joining us in today's webinar. AB, we want to say a very big thank you to you as well. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. That is one. And then for pouring out from your wealth of knowledge and experience. That is a beautiful one for us today. Thank you so much. So a quick one, we'd like to have a brief recap. And then where you see that we are making some errors from what she said or something that is differing from what you said, please kindly bring me back. So I like the fact that you said a certification will give you a sense of authority. That gave me some kind of a mind-blowing moment for me, because certification, because most of us, especially in this part of the world, in Africa, want to learn, because there was a part of your presentation that you gave where you wrote delving into the project management space with the certification, and then delving into the project management space without certification. But then you said the difference between both of them is the sense of authority that the certification is going to give to you. And then in this space where we have a lot of students that are going into the tech space, especially project management, product management, data analysis, and the rest of them. For most of us, it's simply us going on YouTube and getting the skills we require, and then doing one or two projects here and there, and then we have the skill, and then we start working for a startup or doing some volunteer work. But then you've just said something that is really profound, that the certification is something that is going to give you the leverage over those who do not have certification. So in all you're getting as a project manager or as a person in tech, get a certification. Thank you so much for that one. And you also gave a clear distinction between management and leadership. And you said in all, there are factors that just differentiate, and the principles, people, principles, and technology. So, and I like the fact that that is a profound one as well for me, because for not every leader is a good manager. Am I right, AB?
Yes, you're right. Not every
every leader
manager
can be termed a good manager.
No.
So
not every manager is a good leader.
Can be termed a good leader. So not every manager can be termed a good leader, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much for that. Because of the outlines of principles and people and technology. So that actually is something that those are the factors that make the managers and the leaders. So, Mr. John, do you have anything to chime in respect to the recap on what AB has said?
I mean, you said a lot. Thank you so much. AB, thank you so much. I mean, it was a wonderful session for me. Just like I said earlier, I'm already considering switching to project management already, right? It was a very wonderful session. And I think one of the things that you said that came out to me is check for skill sets. All right, check for skill set. If it's a career path that you are considering, it's important to check. And some skill sets you highlighted, which is, I think it's important for everyone. Maybe not necessarily for as a project manager. I think even as a maybe human being, I don't know, right, that you should know how to communicate. All right, you emphasize so much on communication, because there was a question you were answering the other time whereby you talked about presentation. I've forgotten the question the person was asking, but you said the answer you gave was that if the person can present it better, all right, which is leading back to communication. So if we all invest in communication skill, I think gradually we would, just like you said earlier, everybody, I mean, maybe is a project manager, because one way or the other in a day, we are managing a project, right? We are starting something and we are ending it. So another skill you also mentioned that I really love is negotiation skill, all right? I also think one way or the other, we negotiate things, right? We negotiate decisions for ourselves, we negotiate decisions for others. So, I mean, there are quite a lot of things. I personally highlighted it, and sincerely, maybe I will really consider project managing one day. All right, thank you so much. Over to you, all right. Over to you, Nemi.
All right, thank you so much, every one of us, for joining today's meeting. I'll say that again. So AB, we want to say a big thank you to you. Thank you once again. We are really grateful for you pouring out your knowledge and sharing with us on today's event. So we'll be going on to the next agenda. Or do you have any closing words for the people, for the
I would,
participants today?
yeah, I would say overall, just to say navigating into the project management is easy if you come in with the right mindset. If you come in with a different mindset of get rich quick, it will not work. If you come in with the right mindset of I want to be successful, I want to be able to know how to do things properly, I want to be a leader in this space, you will be successful in it. It is definitely dynamic, it is rewarding, it is multifaceted, it builds strong leadership, and it is a most capable career that you can diversify yourself into in different spaces. Trust me, you should definitely try it, especially if you're a good communicator, if you know how to manage people, and you're adaptable. You're adaptable. That's all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Tech Africa. Tech Expo Africa. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Yeah, Tech Expo Africa, you're most welcome. Once again, thank you for joining us today for today's webinar. We are most grateful. So next up, we'll be appreciating the second sponsor, City Lights, and we'll be having their video played on the screen.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm really excited about this conference. Super, super excited. And I believe you too, you are excited wherever you're watching us from. And this conference, this event, or this webinar, what should I call it now? Right, is sponsored by Tech Expo Africa. And we really want to appreciate the team involved in this event. We want to thank all the design team, the social media team, the social media Facebook team, everyone that is involved in this particular webinar. And most especially, also want to deeply appreciate our guests for today. I mean, it was a very, very, very productive session. I believe for everybody that really participated, you learn one or two things. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. All our volunteers all over the world, wherever the design team are. I mean, they are just coming up with new innovative skills, and we can't really appreciate them enough. They have been so impactful. They have been so helpful, and they've contributed a lot. And you see, it's very, very interesting. We have young people all over the world, I mean, coming together and doing something, contributing for technological advancement in Africa, right? And I want to say thank you, wherever you are watching me from, wherever you are listening to me from, whether in Kenya, in Zimbabwe, in South Africa, or in Nigeria. I want to say thank you so much. Thank you for being part of Tech Expo Africa, and we hope to see you again. All right, Nimi, over to you.
So thank you so much once again, everybody, for joining. Just as Mr. Jonas said, there are a group of people who has put this webinar together for every one of us. And it's really a big thing, or a worthy note for you to have yourself join this particular aspect of people, or this group of people, breed of people who are building the narrative of Africa, who are changing the narrative of Africa. What we're trying to do is to build a group of entrepreneurs, a group of tech guys and tech ladies and tech guys, people who are doing stuff in Africa. That is what Tech Expo Africa is all about. We are a non-for-profit social enterprise who are building innovators, business gurus, tech persons here and there in all parts of Africa, from Nigeria to Zimbabwe to Kenya to Ghana to the other parts of the world, in London, in Canada, and in America as well. So you can find a member of Tech Expo Africa community in almost all parts of the world. But then we are also calling for community managers, because we want people to join in our community and to want to strengthen our community and build our community as well. So we are looking out for people who intend to who would like to join our community, and we're also looking out for community managers. And if you intend to join our community on Telegram, on Twitter, on Facebook, or whatsoever, or even the Tech Expo Africa community itself, we'll be most happy to welcome you with our arms wide open. So if you're interested in the Tech Expo Africa community manager role, we'd like to have you join our team. So you could reach out to the Tech Expo Africa admin on Telegram, or on Facebook, on LinkedIn, or on Instagram as well. So you could reach out to any one of us or to the team and indicate your interest to become a community manager for the Tech Expo Africa community. So the links to joining the Tech Expo Africa community or our social media spaces are going to be displayed on the screen, from YouTube to Facebook to Instagram to LinkedIn, and to Clubhouse as well. We have Clubhouse. We're also on Clubhouse. So before we end the webinar for today, we'd like to have AB come back on stage to talk about a comment that was made by Mr. Philip Akinpelu.
Okay. Can I talk? Yeah. So is there a way to reach out to me? Yes, I'm on Twitter, which is where I share all things project management. And it is at BUKKI_O. And there's a lot of information you can find there. We also have a network of project managers on Telegram as well, which is a community that has, I think, about 1,600 of us. I see one of my guys is here, Justin Mark, who's my business development manager. So hopefully he would share a link. I've asked him to share a link to that Telegram if you would like to be a part of that project management community. We also have a website which we share a lot of information around project management, and we try to share as much of free resources as possible. It's called abpmx.org. That's abpmx.org. Mentees wise, and my mentees so much. So we run programs. We only run 3 programs throughout the year. Currently, we are training 100, I think even more than that, 120 project managers in an internship program. It's been, I think it's our 8th week now. So we are not currently taking anyone for that internship program, but we are reviewing that internship program for the end of this year or next year, and that is a free program. We do have a few paying programs that are coming up, which is project management with Prince 2 and PMP, project management PMP course that will be that's available on our website, so you can show your interest in that as a wait list. There's a wait list for it because we try to keep the classes as small as possible because we find them much more effective. So if you'd like to be interested in any of those programs, just go onto our website. And thank you. I see that Tech Expo Africa is already put in there. So yes, and feel free to send us an email as well, info@abpmx.org, if you have any burning questions. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So you may connect with AB and her team on www.abpmx.org. info@abpmx.org. Connect with AB and her team on www.abpmx.org. So thank you very much, everyone, once again. And like I said earlier, we are a team of people who foster collaboration without ego. collaboration without ego. That's our mantra. And so we are open to have you join our team with our arms wide open wide. We want you guys to join us even as we change the narrative of Africa in the tech space and in the business space. Thank you so much once again. So John, over to you.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. I mean, this is a very successful webinar, and I believe you are going to do something for me now. All right. What do you want to do for me? You want to share this webinar. You want to tell somebody that, okay, this recap, you just have to watch it, because I believe you learned a lot here, right? So, and you have somebody in your network. You have somebody in your network that needs to really see this. So until next time, my name is Olafisoye Ige, and this is Tech Expo Africa.
Africa is in the spotlight.
Thank you so much.
A continent of over 1.2 billion people. The culture, the food, the ideas, all coming together, uniting to build solutions. Tech Expo Africa is a social enterprise event that brings these ideas together in an exposition in a bid to foster deeper collaborations and unite communities. Tech Expo Africa, enabling development.
Number 19. Libreville, Gabon. Libreville is the largest city of Gabon. The lifestyle of the people and beautiful architecture is greatly influenced by the French. It also has a literacy rate of about 90%. Additionally, it doubles as an oil city with a massive investment, which has boosted the mining sector. Its seafront boulevard has parks and sculptures. The National Museum of Arts and Tradition exhibits tribal crafts such as masks and wood-carved artifacts. Number 18. Agadir, Morocco. Agadir is one of the major urban centers of Morocco. Its beauty rests on the blending of history and modernity. A resort destination, it's known for its golf courses, wide crescent beach and seaside promenade, lined with cafes, restaurants and bars.
Giving you all my worship.